Cocks don't pop at all, poppycock cocks do poppy by far. And that's why all the folks on Poppycock keep poppycocks in a jar. But once I met a girl on Poppycock back in the Poppycock Hills. They won't let me back on Poppycock, reckon they never will. Well, Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. The earth don't spin at all on Poppycock, flatter than a hot roadkill. And beer don't stick to balls on Poppycock, reckon it never will. Once I met two folks on Poppycock, one bald, the other likes cats. She wild as a rosy, quicker than a satellite, no Poppycock about that. Well, Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Take a Trey. Sheep don't like to flock on Poppycock, ain't no Poppycock pins. You might just find yourself on Poppycock, waking with a Poppycock kin. And Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Why so freaking early? Poppycock, you and me.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It is so wonderful to be up bright and early with you all. This is a beautiful day, and I want everyone to just hold their intention with optimism this year. You know, we went through some crazy shit last year, and we discovered a lot of stuff that may have been surprising at first, but now we've trained ourselves to not be surprised any longer. And I really want everyone to move forward, to think about, okay, let's think about it like this. Like, now I feel like I need to talk to the masses. I'm not talking to this core group of people that is on the right track. But I feel that the masses, I need to talk to the entirety of it as if everyone was like a socially engineered woman who has this false sense of entitlement. And I think that people really need to focus on what they need to bring to the table and not, oh, poor me, and this is happening to me, and all this stuff happened, and now I'm sad. But now, how am I going to make the world a better place? What am I going to bring to the table? Are you not happy right now? Well, maybe it's because you're not doing something for somebody else. If you feel like you're having a shitty situation in your life, I guarantee, and I did scientific research on this in my personal life, that actually going out and doing something for someone else, anything, just find someone that needs something and do something for them, it works. Good morning, Baldini. How are you this morning?
I'm so confused.
Well, we are living in a whole world of absurdity.
You're wound up this morning. I did not expect that.
Yes, I am, because I have been exposed, Baldini. I have been exposed not to the covidius minimus, not to herpes. I've been exposed, Baldini, to a massive amount of emails from all different kinds of human beings from all walks of life, and some people are going through the most enormous amount of adversity that you could possibly imagine. Like, imagine the worst thing that you could possibly imagine and be like, oh no, that only happens in movies, or like the premise of a really bad or sad movie. And you know what? I'm just going to let you guys know that if the premise of a really bad movie is in your life right now, you are the protagonist and you can rise above it. Now is the time to fight. Now is the time to fight. Now is not the time to be afraid. Now is not the time to second guess yourself, not even one little bit.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. Holla back, Baldini. Baldini, we are back. This is episode
Jalapeno.
2 of season 2. And I don't even know why we discuss the poppycock, Baldini. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? It's almost like masochistic and abusive to ourselves. It's like saying, like,
funny.
oh, I can't, and maybe SpongeBob won't be living in a pineapple under the sea this time. Like,
Well, you know-
maybe it won't be the same, but it is. It's always satanic, Baldini. It's always satanic and pre-planned and designed to captivate our minds, and we have to own our minds, Baldini.
But it's poppycock, and I find it this morning. I find it hilarious. There are days I do not, for sure, and it is annoying. But today, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, you're gonna have to update me because I kind of made a point to ignore it, and I just was gonna let you. But I want to tell you something. It's not just the adversity. I also have been exposed to this overwhelming, heroic feeling amongst a lot of people who are taking the initiative and helping each other. People are making connections and they're rising above, and I'm just so proud of everyone, and I want everyone to know that you can all be like that, because I look at the other emails and everyone just feels so lost, and I just want you to look into your heart and know that you are strong, you can do it, and you can come up with a plan for any situation that you find yourself in.
I'm 100%
There is a way
down
to
with
be
that. Absolutely.
creative. Be creative with your
Absolutely.
imagination.
Because yeah, absolutely. I have seen the same thing. I'm probably, I guess I'm a little more laid back, but if I were more laid back, I'd still be asleep. No, I see the same thing, right? That as one of the things that occurred, and I started watching was when Mac Parhar, Flat Earth Rocker, got picked up for not putting himself into prison, self-imposed isolation, when he returned from Flattoberfest, and how everybody kind of came around him at that time. Again, whether or not you would have done it the same way or not, doesn't matter, right? I love that, and I see more and more of that in our community. They're just taking care of each other, coming together. This is exactly the kind of thing that I want to see, and honestly, this is one of the reasons I started my channel, right? Was to seeing, as you said, people really going through it. And one of the things I see really common is everybody felt isolated, alone, like there was nobody out there like them. And now right here in our chat, our Poppy tribe, the Poppy Peepers, man, you guys are awesome and taking care of each other, and coming around each other. I love it. So keep on, and FDFF.
And you too, Baldini, and you are very consistent. You started your channel because you wanted to understand community, but you ended up building it and like harnessing like this toroidal love energy and magnifying it out to everyone. It was very, very intense, and it's still going on. You're still doing the same freaking thing. You're still so community oriented. You love everybody. You tell everybody how much you love them all the time. And I love you for that.
I love you for your enthusiasm, and fuck the fucking fuckers. I get in trouble now for saying that, because I do my Sunday streams, which are a little bit more spiritual oriented, and some people get butthurt about that.
I might be one of them sometimes, but I'm just trying to deal with it and just, be pleasantly surprised that I felt a little bit offended by something, but I just don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative. I want to focus on the positive, but every now and then as an exclamation when appropriate in a specific nature, fuck those fucking fuckers. Right. But as a generality right now, I'm not thinking fuck the fucking fuckers in this moment. Maybe when you show me some poppycock, I will. But at this moment, I'm looking at the chat and I can't bring myself to feel the essence of fuck the fucking fuckers. Instead, I'm thinking like, oh my God, Ann Gaynor, The Truth, Rob Cleveland, The Soul Duo, Ted Summer, like people I love with my heart and soul. So it feels like two opposing ideas.
I think we can all get together. I mean, part of me resists the idea of the us versus them, because it does create, it makes them our enemy, but they've sworn themselves to be our enemy. I'll talk about that a little bit this morning, but we can, again, for me, as we often talk about, this is not a battle of physicality, right? It's a battle of hearts and minds and your soul. And I think the best way to fight it is love. Right. And even loving the unlovely, even those who claim to be your enemy. So I think we got the best team ever.
Oh yeah,
ever.
absolutely. Absolutely. You gotta and using love, it's the greatest weapon. Laughter is so important as well. If you can find a way to laugh in a situation, everyone's gonna be on your team. Who doesn't want to be on the side of funny? Oh yeah, well, like social justice warrior. And that's the brainwashing we're fighting against. This is what I'm serious, Baldini. From the beginning, before even COVID came, I was like, we have a war on comedy, and that is going to affect people's ability to live freely. Comedy, we need it in order to be free. I really feel that. If you don't have the right to be funny, and if you're always constantly worried about people being offended, then you just got your priorities going in the wrong
Well,
direction, and you just life isn't worth living.
truth, pain, comedy, they're like next door neighbors, right? Their kids go to school together. They barbecue.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are funny when they're true, and they're also a little bit of pain to it. But that's why we laugh, and that's to me why I continue to do well, of course, and I was going to say, this is why I continue to do the Poppycock. But of course, you're here, and all our friends are here. But this is why I do it. This is why I keep looking at this and laughing, because it's preposterous what they tell us, and sometimes you just have to say, fuck the fucking thing. It's like,
Yes.
this is silly, what they're telling us.
Spiritually, you have to sometimes.
Oh, laughter is good medicine, right? It's good for the soul to laugh. And sometimes it's even good. I mentioned this weekend. Sometimes it's even good to get a good cry on. It can release endorphins and kind of get it out. So, yeah, that's it's good stuff. And there's nothing better to me than spending time with my friends here. And it encourages me almost daily, right? That's why I'm trying to change my schedule so I can do more streaming and spend more time with you folks, because it encourages me. This is life to me. And I have loved becoming a part of this community and getting to meet everybody. It's phenomenal. And I can't wait to move forward into the next step, which is to do it in IRL, right? LARPing, and really getting together and try to do this as a living situation. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm super stoked, super excited, and I'm so glad to have you a part of it. I'm so glad to hear that you're feeling better too. It's awesome. I'm not quite to have the breakthrough you did, but I don't think I was quite as down as hard, but it's over a longer period of time. So I'm still fighting it off. But God, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing better. That's music to my ears.
Thank you, Baldini. Yes, it is a relief to be able to eat again. I have my mashed potatoes in a mug, and obviously we all want you to be feeling very good as well. I was at the point where I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just die, because I'd rather not go to that satanic beast system that has infiltrated the areas where people would actually need like real surgical intervention. And so I didn't think that surgical intervention or some kind of procedural 5 minutes, boom, it's all fixed. I didn't think that was going on at all, because it was so uncomfortable that I just thought, okay, this is just, my life is suffering. And that's just, I got into it too much, and I believed the bullshit that the symptoms were telling me. So my point is that maybe there is a little thing inside of there that needs to be tweaked, and it is worth it to find out. Even though those people are fucking evil and retarded, you might be pleasantly surprised that you will run into a few medical professionals that do know what's up, and that bonding will make the whole thing worth it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and shout out, I just mentioned this. So Karen B's here.
Oh yeah, we're having the thingy on March 27th.
27th at
in
the same place
South
we had.
Carolina.
Yeah, same place we had the Flattoberfest. She's got tickets coming up later, and I got to give a big shout out to Rob Cleveland, because he bought his plane tickets before he got set before even tickets were available to the thing. Badass dude, and he's putting, he's like, okay, now you got to go. I'm like, all right, I guess, Karen would never let me hear the end of it if I didn't. So, but hey, badass Rob, that's awesome.
We are going to get to hang out.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. I gotta figure out a way now, even if I have to, I don't know, get somebody to kidnap me, or I don't know. I don't know if I can fly again, but I may have to figure out a road trip or something. It would be about a 10-day plus road trip to do it round trip. But
let me move into a random question then. That this has been on my mind, especially since looking into all of the theories related to the fires in California, and thinking to myself, why don't we have a big super bullet train so we can just get from one side of the country to another so easily. They have them in other countries. Why don't we have one yet? Do you think, with everything that's going on in the world now and the state of technology and how you see society, are we going to get the really fast trains? Not that it's going to help because they're probably going to require masks, but just wondering.
No, they're not going to do it. Well, because that would be helpful, right? Everything really is about promises unfulfilled. It seems to be to get you to believe in a thing and then bait and switch. So especially as we come into Agenda 20, Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, and what they want to do is again pack them and stack them into smart cities and keep people out of those things. So might there be transportation between the cities? Maybe. But it's on a approved basis. I think once they get them in there, you're never really going to leave, and they're going to make you feel again, sort of like the Hunger Games or what do you call it? Divergent, right? That whatever is outside is super scary, right? Even the village, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's village, that whatever's out there is super scary, and they're going to get you. And there's going to be, weird zombie cannibals because they got the Kernani, whatever. They didn't get the facts. So I think that's what we're going to see. And, before too long, maybe, within our lifetimes or, whatever. I was going to say they might try to cut us short because I just saw, how fact checkers are, right? Whatever they tell you isn't true is likely true. Saw a fact checker that no, Kamala Harris didn't say she was going to use military against conspiracy theorists. What?
Like, where did that come from?
What?
Pardon-moi.
Yeah. Well, I don't do conspiracy theories. These are
Baldini,
truths.
That was very interesting what you said about how you don't think that the trains would be there because it would be helpful. I was coming at it from this angle that they don't want people to have as much personal possessions and personal freedom to just randomly do things on their own. So it would be better for their agenda for everyone to be using public transportation instead of people to have their own cars. But it doesn't sound like you're on the same page as me there.
Well, I mean, so we have been sold, I think, on the idea of vehicles as freedom. But if you go back and see the history of transportation in the U.S., of course, trains were a big thing. And it was the robber barons, the railroad barons, right, were some of the first, like Jeff Bezos. They were the big guys of the day, the Bill Gates of the day. But what they did, for example, it was the oil companies and the rubber companies at the time who got together. And for example, in San Francisco and in Seattle, they had really good public transportation and they bought it and shut it down so that people would be forced to buy cars and tires. And in fact, it was their lobby that got together with Eisenhower. And although they claimed it was for the military industrial complex, because, the Cold War, the interstate highway system was a part of that as well, that people would need to get into so they could sell cars, sell gas, sell tires and rubber. It was kind of this grand conspiracy, and again, people say, "Well, conspiracies never happened." This is part of the record. Again, it's not well publicized, but it certainly did happen. They bought up these companies and shut them down and tore up the tracks for electric trolleys in Seattle. It's a remarkable story, and this is how we get engineered. So while they claim, on the one hand, right, that they give you freedom, consider what they're doing now with the electric car. I had a conversation with one of our listeners who is kind of local to me, and again, showing how the Amazon fleet is going to electric vehicles, and they're pushing the electric vehicles. Of course, we know that electric isn't really green because all the lithium they have to pull out of the ground is terrible for the environment. So it's far worse what they're doing to make the batteries than what burning, quote, fossil fuels would be, because they're not fossil fuels anyway. But what actually happens is it limits your transportation, because you have very limited range with an electric vehicle, and they can shut you down just like that, right? So again, if they shut down the grid, you've got no access to electricity. If you have a car and you're pretty smart and good with physics, you can make an engine run on just about anything, like biodiesel. I mean, you can take your kitchen waste and turn you can take your kitchen waste and turn it into a fuel, right? So when it comes to that, again, everything is to promise freedom and deliver something exactly the opposite. And this is my take, for example, on again, I know it's not a popular opinion, but my take on cryptocurrency. They promise one thing, safety and security, and the blockchain makes it decentralized, but who's administering it is the danger, right? It's not that the idea isn't good. Same with like a world government, for example. not a bad idea to get rid of nationalism so that people don't fight one another. But the people administering it are the problem, right? Because what they want is bad. So that's the thing. They promise one thing and they sell you on its benefits. But the problems is that what they give you is far worse in the negatives.
Yeah, and to take it a bit further, on top of that, in this case, for example, if they don't figure out a way to enslave and control you in one way, they will figure it out in another way. So let's say either having a car or not having a car, one is better than the other. Whatever way that you have it, well, let's say that you have the better option with the car. Well, you're going to get screwed over in some other thing, like with your mortgage.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Right. And same thing again, owning a home versus renting or having, public housing or whatever. Oh, it's yours, blah, blah, blah. But then they tax you, like literally tax you. Right. And then make everything really difficult. So, and again, if you really look closely, even the title of your home is the title deed. You don't really own it. They can come take it at any time. You basically are, right. I don't know.
You're getting usage. You're
exactly.
You're the overseer of it. You're
pretty much
the caretaker of their property that you could use while you're here. But you got to pay permission, you got to follow the rules. And by the way, we can come onto your property at any time to assess it.
Or just take your life if we don't, if you're collecting rainwater. Oh, dear. And by the way, how dare you in chat? I've had two people now accuse me of having my car run on coffee. I would never spend coffee that way. It's too precious.
Wow.
I appreciate the thought. But
what if it was decaf? I mean, there's still decaf in the world. If an Armageddon type situation happened, there would be a certain finite amount of decaf coffee in the world. We wouldn't know what to do with it. Maybe it would, in some way, ironically save the world because we would be using it in that way.
Decaf coffee is like non-alcoholic tequila. What's the point? Right? I mean, I'm sorry. I know there are people who
that is a good point.
They can't have caffeine and they like coffee. So, and I saw a comment, somebody, well, I want to be cool. I'm just saying, for me, I'm just like, I understand it's okay if you can't have it, but
I can't have it right now. I tried it last night, a few sips before Jeranism Raw, and I didn't feel that great. It was the first thing I've had in a long time that didn't make me feel good. So I thought, okay, I think I just need to take a break and let myself heal a little more before trying coffee again. So now in my mug, I have mashed potatoes.
I love it. You got a mug of mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes in a mug.
He's got some tubas there, eh? All right. So I don't know. I was maybe start with a little story here this morning because, we've had recently the superb owl, of course, and we knew
it was going to come up. Here we go.
Well, I mean, how can I not talk about it? It was a big deal. I mean, I
don't know how people can talk about it like it's something that isn't already. We don't already know what's going to be said.
That's why, I guess, in part, that's why I'm covering it, because it is a major social engineering maneuver. It happens every year. And
I'm
it has
adjusting my attitude, and let's get into it.
There you go. So it has been for decades, right? A major event in the United States. It is it is certainly annually the biggest watched program in terms of a live event every year. And this is, of course, where they roll out the Super Bowl commercials, have been an enormous part of popular culture. Every year, the Super Bowl commercials get a lot of interest, and they certainly roll out all these new ideas. The halftime show, of course, as we watch, has always been some kind of weird Illuminati ritual, and it just seems to get worse and worse. This year, of course, no exception. In fact, so much so that even the normies are noting. And in fact, oh my God, this is so funny. All right, so let me see if where did I go to this? Yes, this is even the normies are talking about how everybody hates the woke commercials. I mean, even in the Daily Mail, right? The Super Bowl commercial ad fail of the week because it is the worst Super Bowl advertisement of all time because it's too woke, right? Everybody's
What do they mean by too woke?
Okay, trying to push these hard left social agendas. This quote woke, right? The woke left, not awake as we talk about it, but
like everybody's special for participating.
That right, and these strong women, men suck. It's a misandry right, is kind of what they're pushing and all this sort of stuff. And so even the mainstream is talking about how terrible it was, woke or broke, why advertisers, right? So this has been a regular conversation, I think, in our community about how with many of these companies, for example, Gillette, right, that big campaign they had, the best a man can get, they nearly drove their company into bankruptcy over it. And they still virtue signal and say, no, it's worth it. Right, it's worth it. We see numerous franchises, the biggest franchises in entertainment, Star Wars, Marvel Comics Universe, Doctor Who, all destroyed and thrown into the toilet to push these agendas, and nobody likes it, and they don't care. So clearly, it's not about money, right? It is about pushing this agenda.
Yes,
and so that is what we see. And in fact, again, it's now that is the topic of Monday morning now is even Slate.com, the best, but mostly the worst. They're terrible, right? Everybody says it's terrible. They're not
even trying anymore.
They're not even trying anymore. Exactly.
They're just phoning it in. They're just going through the motions. Everyone's just trying to get that paycheck. And so they're doing the bare minimum, which only is fulfilling the requirements of the agenda that were put in place through bureaucratic, procedures and, making sure that Tavistock guys comes in and, gives everyone the okay, and then who cares how much it sucks.
You're exactly right. And so there's a few. So all right. So there's a few things that come up in the Super Bowl itself. And one of the things is we've talked about, in fact, Ceiling Fan Man and I have talked about this on numerous occasions, on how all major sports are scripted. Right? It's rigged. It's scripted. We talked about how, I can't believe, frankly, I didn't think to put some money on the game because I knew in advance, right?
Yeah, Baldini, last night on Raw, I didn't really get a chance to get my 2 cents in. I was trying to find an appropriate way to jump in without being a party pooper, but I guess that's why I have my own channel. So I can just say that, yes, I do think that it literally could be pre-planned in such a way that it is choreographed like a play, in the same way that politics are. Why is it more surprising to people that sports would be pre-planned and choreographed, but it's believable that they would choreograph pretending to, Hillary and Trump pretending not to like each other when they're actually friends. It's just, It's all fake. And I don't like focusing too much on the details because it can cause division, but as long as you can be open to the possibility that yes, you are that tricked and this is that pre-planned and rigged.
Well, let me real quickly, I want to respond to Jennifer M. says she's sure professional snowboarding isn't rigged, but there's no money in it, right? There's more money in gambling by far than all of the revenue that they get from the major sports teams. So gambling is the big deal. And so people don't gamble. The guys with the big money, they don't gamble. They only go for a sure thing. They don't test their money that way. They only want a sure thing. And how do you get a sure thing? You write the script, right? And you don't have to have everybody in on it. It really takes 3 people to change a game, right? You need one key player, you need a referee, and then somebody either in the media or a coach who can kind of put the cover story out. And that's all you need really to throw a game. They probably have a few more in on it, but for the most part, it doesn't take very many people. Everybody can be doing their best, and all it takes is a few people in the know to change things. So we've watched for a very long time. There's I can't remember whose channel it was on, but there was an extensive series of people who were insiders, who were professional basketball referees, who came out and said, yes, it is. It's rigged in this way. This is how he describes it, and it's very easy to see that they give certain players and certain teams leeway, right? So one team, for example, in football, the secondary can do all kinds. They can just molest the receivers, and they won't call pass interference. But
right. Baldini, I just want to jump in here really quick. The point is that for a lot of these games, and I remember with water polo, the majority of the time spent playing the game is dealing with whatever arbitrary reason the ref decided to blow the freaking whistle, and everyone stop. I mean, it is an organic game for 5 fucking seconds at a time, and then they blow the freaking whistle, and then it's just fucking politics, basically. Right?
Right. And you can watch these things to follow if you want to know kind of who's going to win, right? You follow the script around the game, not the game itself, and you can tell going in. And again, CFM and I talked about this on numerous occasions. We watched because we're in the Seattle area. Of course, the Seahawks are local, and we know how they script it for this, and so we can watch the games in advance. But we'll see what's happening and go, okay, this is how the game's going to go, and not just the outcome, like who wins. The score is a little bit harder, but the way that the game develops, we know this in advance, and we told his kids, and they were pissed because they believe it's real. But anyway, just to get down to this, it's all rigged, and so I knew that. I just said I can't believe I didn't put some money on it because it's not a bet when you know the outcome. I knew that Tom Brady was going to win because he's the GOAT, right? They wanted to say that, and they pulled him from the Patriots down to Tampa Bay, which was traditionally it's been long held as one of the worst teams in football. And of course, I knew that they would do that to show, oh, he's the greatest of all time. Look how good he is. Right? I knew it was going to happen, no problem. And so it's not gambling. And so here's a little story that I'll tell. Will lead me to the next story. The guy goes into the bank and he comes in with his buddy and he wants to open an account. And so he wants to deposit $1 million cash. And they're like, whoa, let's go get the bank president here. This is unusual. So they go into the bank president, into his office, and they said, what's happening? He's like, oh, I just wanted to deposit this $1 million. And he says, wow, $1 million cash. Well, there's laws about that. We have to, is this, drug money or what's going on? I said, no, I'm a professional gambler. He was a professional gambler. He said, yeah, but I only bet on sure things. And he's like, well, there's no such thing as a sure thing. He goes, well, I'll show you. For example. He goes, so he whips out $100,000 and he goes, okay, here's a $100,000 bet. I'll bet you $100,000 that from across the room here, I can stand on this chair and pee into a Solo cup on your desk and not miss a drop. You guys like, no, you can't. I'll take that.
I was just wondering myself if you're about to drop like some major wisdom or implemented.
No, I'll get you there. So he takes the bet, right? He's like, no way can you do it. And so they set a Solo cup up there, and the guy stands up and he whips his out and he just pees everywhere. He pees all over the desk. He pees all over the bank president. He pees everywhere. And the bank president's laughing like, ha! What? And the buddy that came in with the guy just passes out, and the bank president's like, what's wrong with him? He goes, I just bet him $2 million I could come in and pee all over you and you'd laugh about it. So it's a sure thing, right? Well, this is exactly what happened. I'll switch over to this story if I can find it again.
Wait, well, first of all, I don't even know who the teams were. Who were the teams that played, and was there anything symbolically significant about the names of these teams and their locations?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who was the other team? I wasn't. Again, I don't. There's a lot of that, and we could get it.
Man against too.
I'm sure that. Oh, here's the thing. Yeah, so I'm sure everybody's broken it down. Marty Leeds, I'm sure, has done a complete breakdown. But here's my two. Here's my two for today. Florida man is the streaker. So Florida man arrested after running onto the field as a streaker. Right. He's a 31-year-old Florida man, and here's the story as I understand it. I'm not 100% sure on this, but it's pretty awesome if true. The way I understand it is this guy actually, because my wife and I had been talking about this with the whole thing about the putting money on these things that when you know the script, right? And she's like, well, the real money is on the side bets. True enough, this guy apparently put a side bet at like 750 to 1 that there would be a streaker at the Super Bowl. And somebody took his bet because they hadn't been a streaker in 15 or 20 years. So he and his buddy both went and both streaked to make sure. And so his buddy got arrested. They both got arrested. It cost him $1,000 to get out of jail, but he made $375,000 on the bet.
That's great.
Okay.
Wow. Talk about just that is such a, that's what profit,
$374,000 profit. Plus the so that's after a bond, but plus the tickets to the game. That's awesome, right? That's rigging. Yes. That's gaming the system, and I love that. I can't know for sure it's true, but I saw a Facebook post of a guy who was in a bar with the guy and said that's what his story.
Anybody can find that man. I want him on the Poppycock Report.
That would be awesome.
I want that Florida man on our show. Exclusively our show.
Yeah, wouldn't that be terrific? So
yes.
So that is that's the kind of nonsense I like to see. But I want to come back here. So in the wake of this, right, this is one of the best parts, and I did check this out. This is legitimate. So Twitter goes after Tom Brady, calling him racist for winning the Super Bowl during Black History Month. Well, they've been playing the Super Bowl in February for 35, 40 years now. It used to be in late January. Now it's early February. So, it's always during Black History Month. But these guys, Tom Brady winning during Black History Month is so racist. That's no way. That's not racist. That's low key racist. No, that's super racist. It's just racist because a white guy won during Black History Month. What? No, it keeps going. It's real. I know, right? I know. It's speechless. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just ranting on mute.
Oh,
darn it. Well, you missed it all. Oh, well.
I did.
My apologies. I can't even remember now.
So here's so anyway, that's all I got on the Super Bowl. I'm not even going to cover the halftime show. You can get that elsewhere. Somebody's going to do a great breakdown on it. I'm just here to laugh at the whole thing. That's why I'm here. It's just to make a mockery of them mocking you. But here's a couple of things that, again, your fact checkers, they're hilarious. All right. So let's see. In late October, Biden released a tweet, and I got to. It's hard to find now because they're kind of trying to scrub it. But he said, and let's see, somewhere somebody had a tweet of this guy. Here we go, in October. And this is what he said. I have this strange notion that we're a democracy. If you can't get the votes, you can't legislate by executive order unless you're a dictator. We're a democracy. We need consensus. And that's an actual quote from.
And now he's doing the thing that he was criticizing a few months ago.
Okay. Not only that, but again, I was so sad that CNN updated because now I can't even find the article because this spot right here, this morning, about 30 minutes ago, just before we started, said there was an article here saying that Biden is by leaps and bounds, and this is CNN, right? They're proud of it. By leaps and bounds, he's way going past above and beyond anybody in executive orders. So he has signed, I think Trump signed 4 executive orders, and most of them are 2 or 3 within the first week. He signed like 52 in his first week, and now he's well over 100. And this is exactly, again, what he said. So he said that he's doing this. Now check this out. All right. So Polyfact, is this okay? Did not admit he does Joe Biden admits he is governing like a dictator. Okay. No, okay, so he didn't say, hey, I'm governing like a dictator. He said, if you do this, you're governing like a dictator. And then he does it. Okay, that's hypocrisy. But they're saying false. He did not say that. Here we go. Fact check. No, Biden didn't say signing lots of executive orders makes you a dictator, except that he did. Here's this guy. I randomly.
Baldini, isn't it interesting that all of these fact-checking things are actually being applied to articles that are rather subjective and kind of based on opinion? I mean, you don't see someone fact-checking like, oh, the weather was 73 degrees yesterday. It exists in reality.
And they'll always say taken out of context, right? For example, Rose says, right, I need to wash my hair because it's getting a little frizzy. All right. And somebody posts and says, Rose says her hair is unmanageable. No, she did not say that.
It's unmanageable. That is correct.
She never said those words, right? So that's what they do. They just play this. And I just found this hilarious as I was looking for, because they've scrubbed it. I was looking for images of that tweet. And I just came across these random images of Biden. Look at this guy. Right. And then
he looks like a freaking clown.
Yeah. Well, then look at this guy. This is who this fucking clown show is. And these are the press. These are presser shots. This is not like Trump, where they were trying to embarrass him. This is like the best shots they can get of the. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking guy, man.
It looks like he belongs in a special ed class, and I'm going to help him learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We're going to make it together. We open up the jar first, and then we put the knife in the jar.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, no. You're going to get to eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich in just 5 minutes. We just have to make it first.
He's got one foot in the grave and the other foot on a banana peel. And I think that's why, they put him in there, because the Kamala's bad news, man. I'll get to that later. Not later today, but in any case, yeah, that's some whack stuff there. Here's just a random thing. This gal,
Can't get this glue out.
yeah, what she did, she decided that she was going to use, her hairspray wasn't working, so she was going to use a spray-on Gorilla Glue.
Oh
in her
no, that's very careless, and I
Yes.
would not recommend it.
It says explicitly, it says, do not swallow, do not get on eyes, on skin, on clothing. She says it didn't mention hair, so she found that misleading. After putting this spray adhesive on, it's permanent, and of course, it's hard as a rock. So she went to the ER. They tried rubbing alcohol as per the instructions to get it off. They tried acetone, couldn't do it. It burned her skin. So now she says she's going to sue.
Ooh. Oh, Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue, and they said, sorry. Anyway, she already got $9,000 and counting for her GoFundMe. Like, those people need to be shot. But also, Gorilla Glue.
Some people just may have had compassion for her situation, even though she's freaking retarded. They're like, "Aw, she really screwed herself up." Now,
I'm okay that she, she's dumb. I'm compassionate.
it's a good thing she didn't use Gorilla Glue to put her eyelashes on.
Right,
Let's just
look
all
at
be
that.
grateful for that.
But, I mean, I would have compassion for somebody making a dumb mistake. But that you're going to sue? No, that's hubris, right? If
Yeah. Good point.
That's where I'm at. Is that if you're
Like, I made a
donating money
mistake,
for
and
her
now
to
I want
sue?
money.
Yeah, exactly. Although I loved this, I don't know if I have the article up here now, but there was a plastic surgeon who offered to remove her hair for free, and I'm like, well, that's a good.
Wait, what? Like, why would you need a plastic surgeon to remove your hair? Why not just shave it off?
He offered to do it for free, and I thought that was a great. I thought that was a great solution, and he said he would do it for free. So here we go. She gets no relief from ER might sue. Anyway, here's the other one. So Robinhood, of course, is the stock trading thing has been in the news recently because of the GameStop fiasco, and again. We covered that already. It just shows how out in the open that they are with their cheating. Right? They set up a system to rig the system and then when we do it and flip the tables, oh, don't do that. That's cheating. But that's what the whole system is set. Oh dear. Anyway, so Robinhood back in the news. This whole thing. I saw this and I was like, what? This is from I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years ago. So I find it interesting that they bring this up. They're just rehashing the same story that the parents were going to sue because this guy was a college student and he started playing with the stock trades on Robinhood. Overnight, he'd made some trades, and there was the way that the system worked, there was a margin call that it showed that he was in debt by $730,000, except that was until the other stuff transferred, and he didn't see that the other stuff was going to transfer, and really he'd actually made like $3,500. But he thought he was $730,000 in debt and committed suicide. Well, clearly he had other issues, and again, I never want to. I'm always compassionate. I mean, I've lost people that way, and it's terrible. So not in any way making light of that, but his parents were considering suing them because I don't think anyway, but here's the thing. Why bring it up now? It's almost 2 years old, right? Is because Robinhood was already in hot water over this other thing. This is the nature of how news manages things, right? They're manipulating everything. We know this all. We completely know this, but here's just a straight up example of how it's misdirection. Right? We want to throw Robinhood under the bus and have you feel bad things about them because we're trying to shut it down so that actual people don't have access to screwing us over like they did. So let's turn up the heat on them. I like this one. Inside a dystopian Disneyland for retirees that belies a sinister underbelly of racism and orgies. I don't know if I want to know about senior orgies, so I'm going to, I hear that there's a whole thing in the porn industry. It's called Twilight porn. Oh, dear. I don't even. So in the wake of Idaho outlawing medical marijuana, fucking retards, South Dakota voters said yes to legalizing marijuana, but the judge said no. It's just one more example of how government constantly does exactly the opposite of the will
what
of
the people want.
Every motherfucking
Yeah, who the hell is this judge and who does he think he is? He's just in charge of all of these people's lives.
Yeah, well,
bullshit.
Again, and to me, this whole thing is smacks of, again, the idea of the Overton window, just to get you used to, we'll do whatever we want, screw you. And they've been doing it forever, and people just are so used to it now that they're wearing masks for no reason when it's clearly nonsense, and everything they're being told about this current scamdemic is a scam, and it's clear, and they just do it anyway because we just do what they tell us to, and you got to do it too. Same thing here. Police in Myanmar crack down on crowds defying protest bans. So again, people taking to the streets saying, we don't want what you've got. Oh, well, then we're going to put you in jail then. That's
Baldini, what's going on with the embezzling, the former embezzlement meme?
Oh, that's happening. Are you kidding? Former union president, embezzlement.
Oh, my.
Uh-huh. Former bookkeeper, embezzlement.
4 days ago, 5 days ago, 4 days ago.
Former Papa insurance agent, pleads no contest to elder abuse and embezzlement.
It makes me really uncomfortable. It's like you found a glitch in the Matrix.
Yep.
Ooh, it's so creepy and weird.
I know. It's all there. Oh, here's one. Speaking of a glitch, now this is a fascinating one to me. I saw an article that appeared on my newsfeed on my iPad, and sometimes I have a hard time getting those to jive. And when I come to the desktop, it doesn't work. I saw this article about this guy who was reported safe after being reported missing at the Grand Canyon. Now, here's the odd things in this story. He disappeared in, I think it was October. Who hadn't been seen. He was last seen on the rim of the Grand Canyon.
And it's cold.
Oh, it's cold.
At night, it is below freezing.
So
impossible
he was apparently
to survive without shelter.
He was apparently a hiker, not camping, anything like that. A hiker, not a backpacker, right? And then he was found yesterday outside the park. And the guy's 60 years old, but he looks in pretty good shape. And I can't, if I click on this, I know what it's going to happen. I'm going to get this weird thing. But here we go. So this is this man
was abducted by a government agency that performed
All right, so here's
experiments on him.
It's super weird, and all the comments everywhere are that even again the normies are going, man, that doesn't add up. So this guy, a Maine guy, 60 years old, looks like the picture of health, right? Looks like I don't know, the first impressions, right? So anyway, he's been located and is okay. He hadn't been seen since last year. He's 60-year-old Stephen Coleman of Portland, last seen December 20, so not October, December 20, on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. They said he was believed to be traveling alone, indicated he was going hiking, and then he was found outside of the park. That's all they said, in safe and in good health, but did not.
And what does he say happened?
Did not release any other details. Nobody is talking.
Well, that's fucking bullshit.
Right. So we
Tell
don't.
us what happened. Tell us, dude.
Right. So
tell us, Main man. Tell us.
Weird. It gets weirder. Right. So
what happened?
So here's this guy, right? So it doesn't. So he kind of has the appearance of somebody who might be, I don't know, involved in, I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. I'm just going to say, all right. But when you go looking for it, and this was the strange part, when you go looking for, so I came to the desktop and I wanted to find this article. I said, tell me about, so I did a search for hiker missing Grand Canyon discovered, right? Instead.
I just thought of what happened.
Instead.
I think I just know what happened. Let me just tell you.
Wait.
All right, fine. There's more information. Okay, tell me more information.
So hiker lost Grand Canyon. Okay, the first hit is this, but every other one is from weeks ago. A Texas hiker missing nearly 2 weeks, Grand Canyon. So this guy, every other story, when you put in those search terms, comes up this other story. They're hiding that one, and so every other story is this one. This guy who went in before Christmas found a live Texas guy. Totally different story. And when you search for it, they give you the wrong one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now,
I think that the first guy, that the story that they're hiding, the guy who has looks like the picture of, he was involved in something, in some kind of operation where he thought it was going to be cool. He just was going to go in, do it, make the money and leave. And he went into it and saw some evil stuff, sex trafficking, something horrible, and then somehow it's not like he escaped. It's like he came to a deal where they're just like, we're just gonna let you go and you'll never talk about this again.
If I'm going to speculate, here's what I'm going to say is that he is some sort of spook or something that they don't want to tell us about. And the only reason this report came out is because they have to cover for the fact that they're like, hey, what happened to that guy that was missing? Oh, we found him. He's cool. right?
That different guy.
Never mind. Right? Just never mind.
Oh, so you're saying it's the other guy that was the CIA agent?
This guy.
No,
I know
no,
I'm
this
thinking,
is him.
yeah,
This is the
this
CIA
or
secret agent
spy
man.
or whatever, or he might have been involved in a Twilight porn ring. I don't know.
Well, no, I think that no.
No, okay.
That's just something. No,
So
this is something high level, and they just have to tip the hand and cover their bases, but also kind of put it out there in such a way that it can be broken down in this manner.
But again, I just love these. The fact check. No, Biden did not say signing lots of. Well, he did actually, and there's evidence of that. So, here's one for you. This is my space story for the day. Because it's got like 5 different hoaxes in one. Testing Chernobyl fungi as a radiation shield for astronauts. So we got Chernobyl, we got the nuclear hoax, we've got astronauts, we got the whole bottle of wax. Yeah. So that's the story today. Officials at NASA have made clear that they want to take this magic mushroom and use it as a radiation shield for astronauts because of that terrible Van Allen radiation belt that we can't go past to get to the moon, except for they did it with no problem.
Right. They did it with no problem, but that's because the moon's within our atmosphere now, which would sound fucking insane about 20 years ago, but now they're just saying it.
Well, of course, they said, well, I guess we know they were fine because they hadn't discovered it yet. Except they had, but that's what the astronauts said. Well, I guess, I guess we were fine.
There was something so random that I just wanted to put out there for anyone who needs to hear this. You don't need to buy more shampoo if you don't need it. If all you need is conditioner, you're not saving money if it says that you can get shampoo and conditioner for sale at the same time. If you take months and months and months to finish your shampoo, but you go through conditioner a lot, just don't buy the shampoo. You're hoarding something you don't need.
Besides, it's right there in the name, shampoo. It's fake shit right there. That's in the name. It's fake shit, shampoo. Come on, guys. Yeah. Words have meaning, right? There you go.
Yeah, we need to stop using all these products we need to start figuring out how we don't ever need to go to the freaking quote unquote drugstore again, right? Unless you need like midnight ice cream on the way home from a metal concert. Sorry, just to be nostalgic. Sometimes that's when you really fold the most on things that you shouldn't have on the drive home after a metal concert, right, Baldini?
Mm-hmm. I know. Yes, in fact, it was on a drive home from playing a concert that a number of years ago. I killed 3 years of being vegetarian by stopping at Taco Bell on the way home at like 3:30 in the morning, and I was just really tired, and I got 3 bean burritos, and as I drove away, I took a bite, and I was like, God, that's good. And then I took another bite. I go, God, that is so good. And I went, oh, dear.
That's the story of everyone. Who hasn't had that experience?
That's not a bean burrito.
It only took a couple of those experiences for me to never go back to Taco Bell again.
Yeah, but a week later, I was eating steaks. I was like, God dang, this is good. Cow is good. I don't eat as much of it as I used to, just, because I'm older, but I still like it.
When you talk like that, I feel like the cockroach man from Men in Black, where when he's watching people like step on the other cockroaches and be like, that's my uncle. I feel like I was a cow in a previous life, and you're talking about my people. But that's okay, because in this reality, I'm a human now, and so I'm just going to blend in with you guys.
You know what you call a cow with no legs?
Me?
Mm-hmm. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef.
Oh.
What do you call a cow with 2 legs? Lean beef.
Stop.
We call a cow after it gives birth decaffeinated.
Yeah, well, how would you feel if I cooked you up and ate you, Baldini?
Well, only if you invite my wife. She keeps saying she wants to eat my earlobes. I don't know.
Ew!
I say that she's cannibal curious.
Oh no, weirdos!
What do you call it?
A freaks cow, over there.
A cow that's masturbating? Beef stroganoff?
No! Stop it!
So
Can we move on?
Yes. Okay. So there was an article, and this is a weird one. So I don't know if you've seen the recent spate over the last several years of teachers getting caught sleeping with their students, but mostly women and hot women too. It's like so weird. Like suddenly this is like the whole thing has changed. And it's getting weirder. I just saw an article, earlier this morning about a gal who had a 2-year relationship with a female. She was a female, so a lesbian relationship with a student starting when she was 15. And again, it just gets weirder and weirder. And then the one I just saw was like, okay, a substitute teacher had been arrested on 19 counts of child molestation because she openly masturbated in front of her entire class of second graders and recorded it and posted it. What the hell? I'm not sure if it's real.
Show.
I'm not sure if it's real. I've seen several articles today that seem to be just. I just don't buy them, right? I just don't buy the stories.
It's just shock value, shock and awe.
It absolutely is. I think that's what we're looking at with a good deal of these. It is simply to shock and again titillate. Baby shower cannon kills man. I mean, again, it's this sort of stuff. I find it really interesting though. If you, I'd given up on CNN for a while because they just make me sick. But I've started kind of monitoring their homepage, and they do a automatic update every 2 minutes or something like that. They update it, and it's really interesting because
that one's been up there for a while. That article annoyed you because it replaced a previous one, but it's been up there the whole time now.
Yeah,
this is the one they want people to see this morning.
Right, exactly. And but they have done it to me again when I go, that's an interesting story, and then I go back, and then of course it's gone. But I find it fascinating in real time what they're pushing. Right. And so they can update in a moment to, again, change and manipulate your opinion on things. And keep in mind that nearly all of these are designed specifically to elicit an emotion. And when you give an emotional response, when you're in a high emotional state, that's the easiest way to manipulate you. So be careful. Even if you're mad about the poppycock, be careful, right? Because when they get you in a heightened, elevated state, they can trigger you. Even if you know it's nonsense and you're mad about being nonsense, they can still... this is how this manipulation
They're still
thing works.
Controlling your mind.
Exactly.
If you're not paying attention to this and your thoughts are your own and you're living your life and you're looking at the window and you're saying, oh, that's a blue jay, and the blue jay's trying to get that worm. That these are real things. I want you to continue monitoring CNN, Baldini, and I would like it if you looked at this page maybe an hour before the Poppycock Report, because I know you're awake.
I am.
And you screenshot it, and we shall compare perhaps the most interesting things and maybe the most truth will be found in the article that is right before the Morning for the Mainstream article gets put there.
Interesting.
Because it's just there right before it, and then it goes away forever.
I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, this is what we got you coming to the top of the hour here on season 2, episode 222, the master number there. Poppycock, and you started hot this morning, so I'm gonna put my last words in because I want you to finish and give an outro that matches the intro. Doesn't have to be.
Oh wow!
You do whatever you want, but
I have a good one.
All right, so here's mine. Fucking love you guys, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you, as Rose said at the outset, for supporting each other. Watching you guys do it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. Watching this community grow and the quality of people that are involved and how you take care of one another is freaking amazing. One thing I would just ask with that in chat right now, Brian Jackson, he's in California, he just lost his fiance and just yesterday. So if you're in the area, if you just give him nice words, say nice things to him. If you can do anything to help the guy out, I'd love that too. Just come around each other when bad things happen. It's tough, man. So just come up beside the guy and support those around you who are in need. Most of the time, my experience is when people are hurting, the best thing you can do is just sit there with them. You don't have to try to give them any pithy words or,
It's okay to acknowledge that someone is going through something terrible that totally sucks and is probably the worst thing that they ever will go through. And Brian, yes, if you are out there, my heart is with you, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're with you, right? 100%.
For this tragic, unspeakable loss, unimaginable. And I didn't know if this was something that you wanted to be spoken about publicly, but since Baldini did, I just want to put out there, I love you, man. I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you got to be with her in the end. So Yes, that we are all going
Brian's a
through things.
terrific guy too, man. Just salt of the
Hi,
earth.
Brian. He is in chat. Okay, it's so good to see you this morning. We are here for you, and it's just good to know that while you're going through this, you're here with us instead of maybe just festering in. And everybody goes through grief differently, but just know that if you need anything from us, we're here for you. And that goes for anyone else out there that's hurting, because everyone is going through so much right now. Like even just remembering the fact that David Weiss just lost his mom. Like these are
Oh, yeah.
things that people might talk about for like a couple of days. Like, oh, did you hear this about this? This person went through this, or this person went through that. But like these are things that people are going through all the time for a long time. It has to process, and it's something that you have to get used to. And so we're all getting used to these life changes during a very strange time in the world where people aren't able to take advantage of the normal connections and coping mechanisms that maybe they did in the past. And so that's why we're all here for each other now, so that we could work together through these challenges.
Yeah, well said. And just again, love you, Brian. Love you guys for coming around him as well. And so if you're, especially if you're in the area, and you can reach out to him and get him a meal or something. Just send me the tab. I'll buy him a meal. So you can do that, Brian, if you want to tell me where you're at today. I'll buy you lunch. And anyway, love you guys, and so pleased that you guys are here. And see you again on Thursday. And
yes, Thursday we will be back for the Poppycock Report, episode 3, back strong to address that which is the Kirk of the Perpy.
The Kirk of the Perpy.
All right, everyone. Good day. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Reach for the sky and just think about what you can do for others. Bring your best to the table. The time is now to fight, and let's not linger on the past. Cheers.